Very good afternoon, students. So, let's start our new chapter of class 9 science, that is chapter number 5, the fundamental unit of life. We all know the fundamental unit of life is called cell because we already studied about cell in our previous class in class 8, and we have studied a little bit about the cell, but in this chapter we will be seeing the detailed study of cell. Now, first of all, how the cell was discovered. In the year 1665, Robert Hooke, what he did, he observed the cork. A cork is a substance which comes from the bark of tree, and he observed that cork under the microscope, self-made microscope. And he found so many chambers like in honeycomb. How many chambers are present? Like the same way the chambers were observed by the Robert Hooke under the microscope. Later on, these chambers were compared to the cell. Now let's see how living organisms are made up of. For this, let us perform an activity. For this activity, we require onion, slides, then cover slips, some stains, glycerin, forceps, needles and scissors. What we have to do? We have to take out carefully the peel of onion, and we have to keep this peel of onion over the slide and put few drops of stains and glycerin and put a cover slip. We have to put the cover slip in such a way that the bubbles will not arise. Then we have to observe this slide under microscope. Students, you know what we have observed here? We have seen here so many small chambers, and this one small chamber is called cell. And later on, the scientists found that all the living organisms' body is made up of these small units, that is called cell. Here, why the cell is called the fundamental unit of life, do you know? The cell is called the fundamental unit of life because every function required for the body is performed by the cells. Different types of cells are present in every living organisms, and these different cells perform different functions. Since they are very important unit of life, that's why they are called fundamental unit of life. Now, later on, the scientists also observed that different organisms' body contains or consists of different number of cells. Some of the organisms, very lower class organisms, were made up of only single cell. The organisms whose body is made up of single cell are called unicellular organisms. What they are called? They are called unicellular organisms. On the other hand, the organisms whose body is made up of multiple cells or many cells, they are called multicellular organisms. Now, if you see the body of unicellular organisms, it must be simple because only one cell is present, and whatever functions required for that organism is performed by a single cell. And if we look towards multicellular organisms whose body is made up of multiple cells, their body's work or function is divided among the various cells. Now let's see how the shape of the cells looks like. Students, if we talk about the size and shape of the cells, there are a number of varieties of shape and sizes the cells are present in our body. Some are spindle shaped, some are spherical, some are elongated, some are branched. Some may be as small as the smallest cell of bacteria, that is mycoplasma, and they can be large as the ostrich egg, which is also a cell. So in this way, varieties of cells or the varieties in cells, shape and sizes the cell may occur. Now, we have already told that the cell performs all the basic functions required for the body, like respiration, digestion, excretion, assimilation and everything. Means whatever functions required for the living organisms are performed by these small unit, that is cell. Now, how the cells are able to perform all these functions? The cells are able to perform all these functions because they are present various organelles which are capable of performing various functions for a cell. Let's now see the detailed structure of cell. If we talk in general about the main important parts of the cell, there are three main important parts of the cell, that is cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. Cell membrane is the outer membrane of the cell. through which the exchange of various substances takes place. Inside it present the liquid portion, which is called cytoplasm, and then present the nucleus, which is also called the brain of the cell. Cytoplasm is a liquid material in which various types of organelles are present. Let's see the detailed structure of plasma membrane or cell membrane. The cell membrane, which is present outer side of the cell, is also called plasma membrane, and this membrane is also called selectively permeable membrane, as it allows only selected things to pass inside the cell. Whatever carbon dioxide gas present inside the cell is removed from the cell through the process called diffusion, and whatever oxygen gas required for the cell is also exchanged through the process of diffusion. Here diffusion means the intermixing of particles that we have already studied. In the same manner, the water required for the cell is also exchanged, but the process of exchange of water through the selectively permeable membrane is called osmosis. Students, have you ever thought that how this exchange of water takes place inside the cell? The exchange of water takes place inside the cell by the process of osmosis. The process of exchange of water from the higher water concentration to the lower water concentration through selectively permeable membrane is called osmosis. The three condition can arise. For example, if suppose the concentration of water is more in outside medium as compared inside the cell, the water will move from outside the medium into the cell. If water concentration is higher inside the cell as compared to outer medium, then the water moves from inside the cell into the outer medium. And if condition arises when the water concentration is same into the cell as well as in outer medium, then in such condition no exchange of gases takes place. In the first condition, the solutions are called hypotonic solution. In the second condition, they are called hypertonic solutions, and in the last conditions, they are called isotonic solutions. Next organelle of the cell is nucleus. Students, we already know that nucleus is called the brain of the cell, and it was discovered by Robert Brown. Nucleus is basically made up of double wall, and that is called nuclear membrane, and which separates the material of nucleus from the outer cytoplasm. This nuclear membrane contains various pores which helps in the exchange of materials inside the nucleus into the cytoplasm. Nucleus is very important material as it contains chromosomes. These chromosomes contains the structural unit of inheritance that is called genes. These genes contains the information for the characters transferring from parents to parents. This genes contains information in the form of DNA. The full form of DNA is deoxyribonucleic acid. And these play a very important role in the transfer of characters from the generation to generation. The chromosomes can be seen as a rod shaped in the nucleus only when the cell is about to divide. Since it controls the major functions of the cell, it is called the brain of the cell. On the basis of presence of nuclear membrane, the cell can be of two types, prokaryotes and eukaryotes. A prokaryote cell is a cell in which the nuclear membrane is not well developed and the nucleus material is scattered inside the cell. On the other hand, a eukaryote cell is such a type of cell in which nuclear membrane is well developed and it is confined to a particular region. The organisms like various unicellular organisms like bacteria contains prokaryotic type of cell. On the other hand, all the other living organisms contains eukaryotic type of cell. We the human being also contain eukaryotic type of cell. Various organelles of the cell. The first organelle is endoplasmic reticulum, ER. Two types of endoplasmic reticulums are present around the nucleus, and these are present as tubes and they form a large networks outside the nucleus. The two types of endoplasmic reticulum are RER, rough endoplasmic reticulum, and SER, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, when observed under microscope, appears rough because of the presence of ribosomes on their surface. On the other hand, smooth are called because of the absence of ribosomes on their surface. Now, what is the function of rough endoplasmic reticulum? The function of rough endoplasmic reticulum is to synthesize protein, and the function of smooth endoplasmic reticulum is to manufacture fats and lipids. As soon as these fats, proteins and lipids are manufactured in different types of endoplasmic reticulum, they are transported from place to place according to the requirements of the cell. Some of these fats, proteins are also required for the process of synthesis of cell membrane, and the process is known as membrane biogenesis. These endoplasmic reticulum performs a crucial function in transporting the materials from place to place, and also the smooth endoplasmic reticulum plays a crucial role in detoxifying various types of poison. In this way, they provide a network for the transportation of various materials and synthesizing various proteins, which also act as enzymes and hormones required for catalyzing various functions. Golgi apparatus. It is another cell organelle present inside the cell. The Golgi apparatus was discovered by Camillo Golgi, and these are present as membrane-bound vesicles which are stocked one over other in a parallel manner, which are called cisterns. They form a very close network with endoplasmic reticulum. The function of Golgi apparatus is to store the material synthesized by endoplasmic reticulum. Later on, they modify the substances, pack the substances and provide it to various parts according to the requirements. The Golgi apparatus also performs the functions of synthesizing lysosomes. Now let's see what are lysosomes. Lysosomes are also called the suicide bags, as they contain various enzymes, and whenever the cell becomes non-functional, they burst and they digest to the whole cell. In this way, they are called suicide bags. Whatever bacteria, whatever microorganism entering into the cell is digested or killed by these lysozymes. They are very powerful, they have very powerful enzymes which digest the foreign materials entering into the cell and whatever material which is non-functional into the cell. Our next organelle is mitochondria. Mitochondria is also known as the powerhouse of cell. Now, why it is called the powerhouse of cell? As it provides the energy required by the cell. The energy required by the cell is provided by the mitochondria in the form of ATP, and the full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. If you look at the structure of mitochondria, it is double layered. The outer layer is porous and the inside layer is made up of so many folds, which is in turn increases the surface area for the synthesis of ATP. In this way, they provide the necessary energy requirement by all the cell, and that's why they are called the powerhouse of cell. Why they provide the energy requirement for the cell and why the cell requires the energy? As I told that cell perform various functions of the life requirement, and because of these functions, all the living organisms are able to live. Since for performing these all functions, energy is required, so energy requirement is fulfilled by the mitochondria. Mitochondria are very strange organelles as they contain their own DNA and ribosomes. In this manner, whatever protein required by the mitochondria is synthesized in itself. Now let's see the other cell organelle, that is plastids. Plastids are the organelles only present inside the plant cell. There are two types of plastids present in the plant cell, that is chromoplastids, which are colored plastids, and leucoplastids, which are white or colorless plastids. Chromoplastids containing chlorophyll pigments are also called chloroplast. Rather than containing only chlorophyll, they also contain some other orange and yellow pigments in them. Leucoplastids, they store fats, proteins, and some of the oil molecules. Chloroplast, if we see the internal structures, it is made up of numerous membranes which are embedded in a material called stroma. From the outer appearance, they are appearing like mitochondria. They are also having their own ribosomes and DNA. This is another cell organelle present in plant and animal cell. But if we see the size of the vacuole present in plant cell, it is very large as compared to animal cell, or it may be absent in animal cell. If we see the central vacuole of some plants, it may occupy 50 to 90% of the total volume of the cell. This cell vacuole also helps in storing various important materials necessary for the plants like amino acids, sugars, fats, protein, vitamins, etc. Thus, they also helps as the storage materials. These cell vacuoles in some of the unicellular organisms, also called food vacuoles, consist of the various food materials taken or observed by the unicellular living organisms. Food vacuoles provides the turgidity and rigidity to the plant cells. In this way, we have covered all the topics of this chapter. I hope you all have understood. Thank you.